pushing that button to send the gate back down. I feel like I can also go under the gate if I'm on the other side of that. Let's go this way. It's just if you come in this way, I guess. Alright, well, we're on the other side. Not sure that I wanted to be on this side just yet, but we'll keep going. See where this takes us. Also, let me know if I need to turn down the sensitivity. Whistling Rock. I do like that there are now subtitles. That's good. It's always good when you've got dialogue, especially when you've got a sound system where you can't really differentiate the volume slider between such things. Left or right? I guess we go right. Yeah. Ah. Now this... some kind of, I think this is the focusing device. We have to line all those things up, or is this the one that shoots... maybe this is the one that shoots the laser. Ah, look at that, the symbol. The leaf symbol. It's like that? With like a thing underneath? I don't know. We get to see what the symbols look like later, so I can find out exactly what that is, but I think that's how I differentiate these. Nothing that way. No choice but to go this way. I really ought to be looking around every time I go in someplace, because there's going to be some hidden clue that once again I miss out on. Broken post. Right, so I came all the way out here just for this, I think. Oh, wait, what's this? Ah. There we go. That's how we get this stuff going. Alright. So, if I am not mistaken, I now need to turn this in a direction. So, be going towards blue. So, let me write that down. Yellow, blue, okay, that's backwards. Could go to green. What does this one do? Sends it out into the ocean, I think. Yeah. There's nothing out that way. Okay. So then it goes to green. Now, is there another... Yes, okay, so we're back to where we were at the beginning. Circled around this way. Oh, Okay, I thought I was maybe going in between there, but no. Well, that means I just have to go back then. So, I guess instead of going down now, when we get to the other side, I have to pick a pathway going up. We are on yellow. Wait, what? Another yellow? Was that not yellow at that other one? There's red. I realize I'm going through this a little too quickly. I'm clicking through where I said I didn't want to do that. Okay. Okay, so that brings it to the red. It's out there. We can't go out there. There's nothing that way. Hey, right in my eyes. So that takes it to red. Yeah, I know. The music definitely triggers some memories for me. I guess I spent way more time playing these games than I initially recall. Okay. So... it's the wrong way. No, not... you can just zoom right into the bright light. Blind yourself, there we go. So yellow. So was that a orange at the beginning then? I will put yellow/orange. Because this one is definitely yellow. And what do you need to look into? Might be. It would just be weird that they would go through all the colors and then not, not have all of them. They would... Okay, and then that goes to purple. Then we gotta figure out where purple is supposed to go to. What are you looking at? Oh, right, there's that one. I'm trying to get around here. Goes back to red. But I already set red. I think I'm going in circles here. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I need to get it pointed at that thing to open that door. So... yeah, so I think I've actually got this wrong here. Because this thing... because we had it go to blue to green. Oh, no, there is. You're right. It is repeating colors because there was a red on the other side. So this is the red here. And then this is the red that we need to have pointed towards that door. Which it ought to be doing right now. Yes. So let me just scoot along the backside here till we get back to... where the hell am I? Nope, not this way. It does not look like a pathway, but oh, there it is. Stairway goes up that rock. Okay, so now, here we are. So we need to click yellow, blue, green, red, yellow, violet, red. Ba-da-da-da. And here we have another one of these. Okay, slash mark. How am I going to represent this? Probably like this, I guess. So I don't have the code for this puzzle. So where does one find that information? This puzzle came about pretty quickly. But now I gotta figure out a way to do the other ones. So that symbol then represents the symbol of the age, I guess. I gotta do it again. Ah, come on. Let's just push the button. No. Okay. I was hoping maybe it would go ahead and do that for me, but no. And then it would give me the code, what that actually is. So, yeah, now we gotta figure out how I find the codes to bring the baskets down. And I think I have been everywhere so far. Everywhere I can be. So that is, well, one piece of information I may actually have here. Atris's very prolific journals. I always feared this day would come. For years, Catherine and I have dreamed of restoring Dunny. We have dedicated our lives to the task, taking it upon ourselves to locate the citizens of Dunny and convince them to return to their ruined city and rebuild. Our dream has become the dream of so many now, and the progress we have made toward achieving it is something of which we can all stand proud. But I know that it has been a mistake. The city of Dunny should not be restored. It should stand forever in ruins as both a symbol of our past mistakes and a memorial to all who lost their lives when Dunny fell. The devastating events of recent months, the war and tyranny, the death of Uta, in particular, have driven this truth home to me quite forcefully. Yeah, I believe these events refer to the books. As I recall, the books were used, they came out before the game and they were used as sort of a promotional thing, if I remember this correctly. In particular, have driven the truth home. Okay, if we rebuild the city walls today, we are not giving approval to the very illness that destroyed. Are we not giving approval to the very illness that destroyed our civilization in the first place? Are we not setting ourselves up to repeat that pattern again in future generations? I have put much thought into this tonight and found only one solution. If we, the men and women who survived the downfall of Dunny, are to thrive, then we must break the pattern of hatred which has destroyed so many lives. We must begin our civilization anew. And we can only do that if I write us a new age. I have spoken with Catherine about this, and she agrees. I only hope the others will see it as well. Will these people never cease to amaze me? I thought they would object to my decision. After all, most of them linked back to Dunny specifically to see the city rebuilt. But when I told them why we should not restore it, their response was immediate and unanimous. Whereas yesterday they thought only of rebuilding. They concentrate solely on salvage. They intend to take from their ruined city only that which is best and move on. Everywhere I look, the enthusiasm for this new task is obvious. It heartens me, even as I face my own monumental contribution. I have written many ages in my lifetime, from my first timid attempts under the tyrannical tutelage of my father to my most recent accomplishment, Averon. Never before has so much been riding on my skill. The age I am about to write must be all I ever imagined and more. How am I going to achieve it? Catherine laughed this morning when she saw me drudging out my old notebooks. I must have made quite the picture, sitting near the embers of a fire surrounded by countless commentaries and journals. Some of them seemed more dust than paper, but the hours I spent sifting through them was worth it. Ideas for what this new age might be are tumbling around in my head. There are almost too many to catch hold of. Obviously, I must choose some starting point as my anchor. Writing ages is a science, a precisely structured equation of words. Every equation needs as its foundation an underlying concept around which the age can develop. In the past, I have written my books around whatever idea intrigued me most at the time. I wanted to discover how the age to which the book linked would manifest the results of that idea. Sometimes civilizations had arisen, sometimes they had not. But whether a society had come to exist on the age or not, it was often in response to whatever concept the book I had written embodied. This time, my search for a concept must be weighed very carefully. I already have the civilization I wish to develop. I know our history as a people, and the paths we have followed to arrive here. Today I must write a book which will link to an age that will allow us to continue on our way, growing ever stronger as one people. What underlying concept must this new age reflect that will best allow our civilization to thrive? I fear I must think on this some more. It has taken me some time, but I may have found my anchor. It came to me as I was considering what I know about the survivors of Dunny. We have seen so much tragedy in our lives, from the destruction of the city to the suffering of the loss of loved ones due to plague and deprivation. Yet even in the midst of these adversities, my kinsman and I have found the strength to keep going. We have tapped into our individual strengths and transformed ourselves into something stronger. It is a characteristic I have seen in several of my ages, whenever I focused my writing on the inherent energy sources in a world. Long ago, grandmother taught me that no possibility for life in an age exists without the presence of energy. By tapping into its latent energy sources, an age moves out of stasis. It grows, transforms, and develops. Energy is the underlying fuel that powers all activity. To put it more simply, energy powers future motion. Yet, as grandmother also liked to remind me, energy in an age takes on diverse forms. Each one has strengths and weaknesses of its own. How many forms will this new age contain? Which type will be its dominant theme? Tomorrow I will link back to Myst and from there revisit several of my ages. Perhaps in my old worlds I will discover new ideas. I had almost forgotten how painful it is to revisit Myst. In the 10 years since my son Cirrus and Achenar left me trapped on Kavir Island and burned so many of my books, Catherine and I have rarely linked back. I told myself we were always too busy, first with writing ages like Averon, then with searching the ages of Dunny for survivors. I always said we would spend more time on Myst eventually. The truth is, I have been avoiding the age. Seeing the island in its current condition ignites such anger and grief. I am immediately reminded of the betrayal of my sons, as well as the cruelty and greed with which they plundered my ages. I know I am partly responsible for these acts. I constantly wonder if there were something I could have done to reach out to the boys before. Enough. Nothing can change the tragedies of the past. Like my Dunny kinsman, I must salvage what is best and move on. Perhaps in the process I will find forgiveness and hope. Once again I am back on Myst Island, having completed a lengthy sojourn through several of my ages. The trip itself was not as inspiring as I'd hoped. The Selenitic age was especially disturbing. I think that was the one. I think that was the one where there was that central building, and you had the cages with Cirrus and Achenar, the rooms, the separate rooms, and there was like cages and all the stuff. Anyway, but has it not always been so? The very first time I linked to the age, its uninhabited landscape was shaking with tremors. At the time I felt it was because the energy in the age was unfocused, as if it were at war with itself. Stability finally came, but even after it did, I never truly felt comfortable there. I missed the more natural balance of ages like Channelwood. Perhaps that's the lesson to take home with me. The Dunny, too, have faced much turmoil in their history. Their lives have been unsettled enough. Perhaps I should be striving to offset the energy that already exists within our civilization by providing it with a more stabilized environment in which to grow, an environment in which the natural equilibrium of the world serves as a counterpoint to the upheavals of civilization. The more I consider it, the more I wonder if I should make nature the foundation of this new age. Worlds like Channelwood attain equilibrium quite easily, primarily because of one reason. Nature encourages mutual dependence. As one life withers and dies, it provides nourishment so that another might live. Plants become food for other animals, and the waste products animals cannot absorb become nutrients to sustain other plants. So long as nothing intrudes to upset this balance, nature can maintain itself indefinitely. I wonder if I should be writing down these bold letter phrases. I don't think they come into play, but I'll do it anyway. Energy powers future motion. Nature encourages mutual dependence. As one life withers and dies, blah blah blah. An interesting metaphor to set as an example for my people. I think I will confer with Catherine on this subject. Her ages always exhibit symbiosis more dramatically than mine. Perhaps she should help me write this new age. I am so tired I can barely think right now, but I will force myself to stay focused, for I have not written anything in days. The moment I linked back to Dunny, I was besieged with requests for my assistance. Master Tamon wanted to consult over which stonecutters were worth salvaging, and did I think the rock in this new age would be difficult to sound. Oma and Essel needed my opinion about a new history they had uncovered. Should they hold off on starting its translation, or would paper supplies be scarce in the new age? There were so many questions needing answers, I barely had time to see Catherine. I don't understand this. If you're writing an age and what is in it, could you not write a surplus of supplies for what you need for your magical linking books? She, of course, laughed at my dilemma, saying I had no one to blame but myself. After all, I was the one who encouraged the Dunny to start over. Naturally, they would look to me to keep them moving in the right direction, unless some other force stepped into... Wow. Unless some other force stepped in to change that view. Her words made me realize a fundamental principle I had thus far been ignoring. All this time I have been debating whether to make energy or nature the underlying framework of this age, but there's another equation to consider. An age based solely on the future motion of energy will face constant upheavals, most likely at the cost of tranquility, and an age based solely on the mutual dependence of nature can become so balanced over time it may cease to tolerate change. Yet to continue to grow as a people, a Dunny civilization needs both, occasional upheavals followed by periods of balanced stability. I have seen such situations occur naturally on several of my ages. Each time it was because I centered the writing around some dynamic force that I had decided to make prevalent in the age. Such forces allow the balance between forward motion and mutual dependence to fluctuate. As one concept takes precedence, the other recedes, until force surfaces to change things. As Catherine's insightful comment reminded me, dynamic force spurs change. Dynamic force spurs change. I am too tired to think more on this tonight. Hopefully in the morning my thoughts will coalesce. Catherine surprised me today. Apparently while I was off writing or visiting my ages, she linked to Myst by herself. She did not say so, but I could tell that her visit had been painful. More than ever now, I am convinced we must find a place to begin again ourselves. Perhaps when I have written this new age for Dunny, I will put some thought into where Catherine and I might live. I cannot believe I did not see it before. All this time I have been struggling to describe the perfect age for the Dunny. I have considered and then rejected several underlying concepts which I felt might best set the course for their future, as if I alone should determine how Dunny civilization will grow. In my own way I have become as egotistical as my father. In truth, I owe this realization to Catherine. Sensing my indecision about the new age, she led me on a walk around Dunny. Salvaging efforts were well underway, with teams of people scouring the ruined harbor district. As I watched my Dunny kinsmen deciding which part of their culture to retain, I realized they do not need me to determine their future. They are quite capable of setting its course by themselves, regardless of what age I write. This realization has opened my eyes to the best way of approaching my task. I no longer need to worry about which underlying concept, energy, nature, or dynamic forces I should make prevalent in the age. Rather, I must strive to include them all. I must write a balance of systems into the descriptive book, enough so that the Dunny people will constantly be challenged to attain their ultimate potential. As grandmother often pointed out to me when we spoke about ages back on Myst, balanced systems stimulate civilizations. I wish I'd left myself a little bit more room on the page for writing this stuff. At last I feel I am ready to begin writing the age. Indeed, I am eager to begin and have already come up with the perfect name. I know grandmother would have loved it. Of course, Catherine would tell me, or could tell the moment I turned to her, that I had finally found my starting point. I babbled on excitedly for some time before I noticed the smiles she was hiding. When I saw it enough To grow suspicious, she handed me one of my oldest age books. She must have picked it up when she linked back to Myst. Seeing the name Jananin emblazoned on the book cover, I could only shake my head. The one age I never got around to revisiting was the one that might have helped me the most. How foolish was I to have completely forgotten it. I think after I finish this work, I should take one final trip, if only to help restore an old fool's memories. Okay. And that is possibly the plot. Can we get out of this? How the hell do I get out? There we go. Possibly the plot. Jesus. That is possibly the plot to one of the books. The Whistling Rock. This seems like important. But then whatever happens there is apparently apparently what connects with Savidro. Do I... What have I missed? Well, let's try going up the elevator again, only this time I will do something about the door, if it lets me. I don't think there's anything else here. I think it automatically closes, but yeah, it did. I can't do anything when it's doing that. I have to be able to get out of here somehow. He just keeps wandering around. Ah, he walks right by the window. Yeah. Okay. So the only other place that I have opened up is the other tusk that has the age book in it. So there's something somewhere that I am missing the clue on how to open that up. Need to find a combination somewhere.